Welcome to a new episode of DAG Podcast. Thank you for being here. In this episode we are talking about toxic shame, what it is and what we can do about it. Please be aware that this episode contains information which may be activating. If you find it so, please be mindful. Take a break, walk, stretch, or do whatever suits your nervous system and come back later. In complex trauma environments, children learn that their environment is unsafe. A child being fully dependent on their caregivers would rather believe themselves as being at fault for their caregivers' behavior towards them than believing their caregivers don't love them and respect them. Because of this, complex trauma creates a double bind in victims of childhood abuse, neglect, and/or abandonment. That of, on the one hand, believing their caregivers love them, and on the other hand, suppressing what they feel so as not to get in trouble. This double bind has victims trading in authenticity for attachment, whereas in healthy homes there isn't an and or between the two, it is an and, authenticity and attachment. Being seen, loved and respected for who we are and at the same time resourced and empowered for becoming an individual in our own right. When abuse, neglect, and/or abandonment happens, the child being abused internalizes the shame of the abuser. Instead of experiencing guilt, which is healthy and is an internal signal of when we have harmed others or did wrongdoing, we experience shame. It doesn't become a problem of behavior but of identity. Guilt says I did something bad, shame says I am bad. In healthy situations, a caregiver telling their children not to do something bad, for example, exclaiming, "Don't touch the stove," will have the children feel shame, though when it is followed by love and care, for example, "Good job, pumpkin, mommy doesn't want you to get hurt," that child internalizes, "When I'm following rules, I'm doing the right thing and it keeps me safe." Shame in healthy situations has the role of group cohesion and serves a purpose for survival. Toxic shame, on the other hand, like in complex PTSD, creates an inner critic that is a self-talk that comes at the expense of the person experiencing it, that becomes an auto-critic towards other people when tipped over the line. With a critical self-talk, we feel like whatever we do isn't good enough. We feel put down by the inner critic, feeling like we don't belong, like we are falling short and that we aren't good enough as human beings. Toxic shame is not only a belief, it is also a feeling. Toxic shame is both a pervasive belief of being fundamentally defective or unworthy and a chronic debilitating feeling of worthlessness. I once witnessed how a mother was belittling her child in public, totally ignoring the frightened expression on the child's face, his teary eyes, and pulling back body language. When this kind of disconnection happens between child and caregiver, the child will internalize that environment and become disconnected from themselves in turn, not to mention the abuse the child is experiencing. In teenage years and adulthood, we might recreate the same conditions from our childhood. We may seek partners that dismiss us in the same way or go to the other extreme. We might also overwork ourselves, always looking for the next achievement that gives us what we believe we need is a feeling of self-esteem. So how do we heal? It starts with making steps towards finding that we already have what we are looking for. It's all inside of us and the body knows the answer on how to heal. We just need the environment necessary to contain us and aid us in our healing. Such an environment can look like a trauma therapist, a therapy group, and/or body-based activities such as yoga or martial arts. In episode 5, I've listed all current modern trauma therapy modalities that can help. For shame, one modality that helps in particular is NARM, or Neuroaffective Relational Model. This is because it's both a top-down and a bottom-up approach that's based in a relational manner. Since cptsd is mostly of a relational nature, that is, wounding happens repeatedly in relationships, healing must also occur in relationships. NARM also has a dedicated protocol for working with countertransference, which is an important aspect of therapy, as most therapists aren't taught on how to handle their own transfers towards clients, and when improperly handled, can leave the client re-traumatized. Healing is done when we give the shame back to the perpetrators who have done us harm and rewire the beliefs that got ingrained in us. It's possible and it's available. We just need to reach out and start the journey. Thank you for listening. If you appreciate this episode, please give a like, comment, share, and subscribe. It helps a ton. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next episode.